morning, everyone. Welcome to the Facebook Live for Help Me to Parent. It is Wednesday, the 13th of March, nearly St. Patrick's Day. So, for all you Irish people out there, hope you have a wonderful St. Patrick's Day this weekend. And you enjoy the festivities. For those of you not in Ireland, I'm sure there's a St. Patrick's Day parade somewhere near you today or this weekend as well. So, enjoy it. It is a bit of a crappy day in Drogheda here. It looks nice, but the rain keeps pouring and it's cold and it's not one of those nice days. So I'm waiting for spring to properly kick in and for the rain to go away, because that's what always happens in Ireland. So hopefully today won't be as ranty as last week. It was just one of those topics that really kind of lights a fire in me. Got some lovely feedback, and I got some constructive feedback as well, which was much appreciated. I know I definitely, when I got into the flow of it and the emotion of it, I may have said a few things that probably weren't overly how I really feel about things, but it is what it is. You put it out there because you're passionate about something, and you hold your hands up if you say things that maybe you don't particularly mean what you say in the moment. But certainly, it's a topic that's very close to my heart and something that I think is really important. And I hope those of you who did send the feedback, I hope you did take some pointers away from it that you can use going forward to maybe reach out and get that support that you might need to improve things for your kids at home with their nutrition and so on. So today we're back to normal. I've got some questions. So the first one is a bit of a long one, but I think it's important to give it context. I got this email in and have subsequently replied to the parent who sent it in, but I think a lot of people will be able to resonate with what she says. So I'm going to dive straight in. So she says, yes, the Wicked Witch made a return yesterday evening. To be fair, she was provoked by teens and a long day driving through pouring rain. It started in the morning over breakfast. My middle child's usual method of irritating me is to just chip away at something. He doesn't yell or really lose his temper, just continues to complain and or argue until I get fed up. Now, I can handle this far better than I used to, but before 6 a.m. I'm not at my most patient. Yesterday morning's complaint was how we never go anywhere for spring break, and every other kid in his class goes to the beach or somewhere. It's amazing, every other kid in the world. It continued in a back and forth fashion that resulted in my husband actually saying if he was that unsatisfied that he could find somewhere else to live. And I chimed in about how I'm tired of no one appreciating what they have. No, my husband shouldn't have yelled, and I shouldn't have even engaged in a pointless argument with an almost 14-year-old. Act 2, I'm driving my 16-year-old to school and asked him about an assignment. He doesn't respond because he's too busy watching something on his phone. I asked again, and the discussion turns to how he should be working to be more involved in activities around what he's interested in doing in film and television production. He turns down every suggestion I have because it isn't exactly what he hopes to do. I say, no, it's not, but it's experience and you need to work towards building a resume. To which he replies quite sarcastically and disrespectfully, no crap. I, of course, respond with the usual parenting line of don't speak to me that way and I hope you don't talk that way to other adults, and followed up with you need to be putting forth some effort, hard work pays off, etc. We arrived at school and he slams out of the car without a word. I call out, have a good day, and now I'm irritated with 2 of my 3 ungrateful children within an hour's period. Act 3, I arrive home just before 4 p.m. after driving to and from a town about 2 hours away for work meeting. It's been pouring rain all day and I'm just tired. I head up to my office to return a couple of emails and find my eldest in the sitting room TV area playing Xbox. His room is the usual disaster and he is currently failing 3 classes, so I'm sure there are assignments he should be working on. I tell him to get off the console. My daughter is playing on the computer and I ask her if her homework is done. It is. Then I remind her what the house rules are about electronics. She stomps off to her room. She comes into my office a minute later to report that it's not fair as my middle son is on his iPad in his room. Well, at this point I head on over to the negative triangle. I call the 3 of them over to the sitting room. I remind them of our house rules regarding electronics not related to schoolwork on school nights, and I tell them there is now a new rule: no console at all Monday to Thursday. All three have spent way too much time on it lately due to the weather, school holidays, and so on, and my illness allowing things to slip. I point out that as grades are slipping all around, we need to refocus. So here's where I'm at. Driving provided some thinking time. One, I don't really regret the conversation about electronics. That has needed to be said for about 2 weeks. I could have come at it from a more positive angle, but some straight talk was needed. I will strive to approach in a more positive triangle manner as I move forward. My teenagers need some real world exposure. Forcing them to work in a homeless shelter would probably result in resentment and not provide the lessons we're hoping for. I want to have a discussion with both boys about looking ahead to summer plans. There are ample opportunities for both to gain work experience through both volunteering and paying positions. I would like to give them a chance to put together their own plan for what they would like to do over the summer, and then my husband and I can help them put it into action. We have spent so much time trying to get our eldest on track academically, which doesn't seem to really be working, that we've neglected to encourage him to get involved with other activities. My middle child needs to come to terms with the fact that he is not going to the school he wants to go to. We need to arrange an appointment to get him properly registered, so we will coordinate having someone speak to him about different activities, clubs, etc., so he can start exploring his passions. Are you tired of reading yet? Absolutely not. Yes, I have been reminding myself that there is no such thing as a perfect parent, and we make the best decisions at the time with the information we have. It really was just a perfect storm of a day. Any suggestions on how to move forward? So I think my opening response to this parent was, well done for not killing your children. That was such, that's one of those shitty days. And, I really felt for this parent, because it is probably something that a lot of parents can resonate with, where there just seems to be one thing after another, and it all piles up into a perfect storm of just feeling like you want to just pack a bag and head off into the sunset and never have to look at your children ever again. But I suppose when we broke things down, she had actually, I think, handled it relatively well. She brought them all together and relatively calmly explained to them that these are the boundaries, and just reminded them of the boundaries. And it's one of those things, our children are children, as we say every week, and it's not always about them getting it straight away and remembering. Sometimes they slip. That's just natural. That's normal. And sometimes we just have to remind them, and that's natural and normal too. So it was really positive that this parent actually stepped in and said, these are the boundaries, and I'm also adding a new one because things have slipped. So this parent had to then take responsibility and say to their children, okay, this isn't our normal line. We have to pull it back a bit to make you guys realise that we're serious about this rule and that things won't slip for the time being. So that's all right. It's absolutely okay. It's just to push things back a bit further, so your children can kind of really get a sense that, oh no, this is actually real. So no devices between Monday and Thursday for whatever amount of time you feel is appropriate. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. You're dead right. Then I suppose it's okay to have had those days, and it's okay to wake up and assess them, which it sounds like this parent has done. She sat back, she was able to really go through things in her head and really get a sense of, do you know what, this is what's happening, this is what we need to do. And yeah, we didn't handle it, or I didn't handle it maybe as well as I would have hoped to, but as you say in the email, sometimes kids need the hard truths, and that's okay too, because that's life. And life is a great way of showing us the hard truths if we don't learn it. So I think you've done a fantastic job of managing this situation. And I think what you can learn from this is that, okay, when we're under stress, we do get into a back and forth with our kids. This is what's happening. No, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. It's all right to stop ourselves and go, okay, hold on a second. who's the bloody adult here? This is the way it is. There is no discussion. We're not bringing it up again. And if you continue to bring it up, we're going to give you a consequence. And I think that this parent did come back to me and say that actually that's what she was planning to do with her middle son, who was complaining about the school that he had, that he's not getting to go to the school that he wants to go. That it sounds like this has been a lot of, I don't want to go to that school, I want to go to this school, I want to go to this school, I want to go to this school. And for whatever reason, these parents, and they're making the best decision for their children that they can right now. And if that turns out to be the wrong decision, you can always change it. That's okay. But I think with this parent, it's about now setting a boundary of, we're not having discussions about it. This is what's happening. And you need to start to get used to the idea. Let's look at what are the things that this school offers. What are the things that you can actually get involved in? What are the things that, that you might actually enjoy about being in that school? And it sounds fantastic that you're actually going to get somebody to sit down with them from the school, because he doesn't want to hear it from you because you have no idea. You're just stupid. And that's just the way life is. Parents are just stupid. They've never experienced childhood. They don't know what life is like. They have not got a clue. So I think what you've done is you've set up things actually quite well. You've pressed the reset button, which is absolutely fine. And it seems to be working from the feedback you've given me. It doesn't mean that it's going to be perfect now forevermore, but at least you've reset things so that you feel like you've been clear about what it is, what the rules are and where the boundaries are, and that the children are now a bit more aware of where the boundaries are and what the rules are, and they've been reset themselves. I hope it works out for a while and you get a bit of a break, and that it doesn't constantly come back at you. You can cut it off fairly sharpish. You can extend the no electronics from Monday to Friday if they continue. You can put other consequences in place if need be. And it's all right to explore these new consequences and explain to the children beforehand that this is what's going to happen. If you continue to do this, if you continue with this behaviour or this way of carrying on, this is what's going to happen. And see how it goes. But well done for not killing your children. Very, very impressed. Good morning, Jennifer. Lovely to see you. Karina, good morning. Nice to see you too. I hope you are both well, and everyone else that's tuning in. It's great to see the little numbers racking up there. I really appreciate people tuning in and taking the time. If you're tuning in for a rant, well, you might get one. I haven't planned one. The next question. I'm worried that my 15-year-old may be self-harming. I found bloodstains on her clothes, and I'm not sure how to approach this with her, as there may be a completely valid reason for the bloodstains. I have friends who have had children who have self-harmed, and I want to be able to support my child as best as possible without totally going over the top, because my little girl, inverted commas, because she is my little girl, and she always will be, is hurting. Any suggestions on how to bring it up with her? So it's one of those occasions where a parent's intuition can kick in, and you can kind of go, there's something about this that isn't sitting right, that maybe they are self-harming. They're at that age. Self-harming is it's a more spoken about thing that teenagers do. So it's okay to bring it up, and it's okay for your child to say, no, I'm not. So what I'd say to you is, just call it out as it is. Like, I'm a great believer in openness, age appropriate openness, but saying to her, look, I found these bloodstains. I'm wondering, is everything okay? Did you hurt yourself? Is there anything I need to be aware of, or do you need some help with something? If that may work, she may open up and say, oh, I just nicked my arm when I was doing a sport, or wherever it might be, and that may be okay. But it's all right for you to say to her, okay, it was just, I've had a few friends with kids who kind of hurt themselves, so if you feel like there's something that you're struggling with or you need my help with, just let me know and you can come and talk to me. What you may find is she turns around and says, oh no, I'm absolutely fine, like I genuinely just cut myself. And that's okay. You're not going to put the idea in her head to start self-harming. And just, I suppose in some ways you have to kind of trust her. and keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it. And then if you start to see more and more it happen regularly, maybe there is something that needs to be done. So maybe if she's not willing to speak to you about it, or feels nervous about speaking to you about it, maybe it's okay to go to the GP and just get some advice and get some ideas on how you can both manage it, so that she can actually hear it from somebody else. This is what you can do to kind of manage. Or maybe they might put a referral into a therapist or a counsellor, and if that's what you need. But I'd say openness, that is the biggest thing. Now, if you have a relationship where you're kind of going, well, she might fly off the handle, or she might not appreciate me approaching her with this because she might get embarrassed, or she might get angry, who knows. Maybe you can approach her with a note, write her a little letter, send her a little text, if you think you need to. Now, some people might be saying, that's just not practical. And it might not be practical. For some people, that's okay. But for others, it may actually be the way forward. So just a little note. Say, I'm just thinking about you. Is everything okay? Do you need my help? That's all you have to do. You're not turning around and saying, are you self-harming? Because that can put them on the back foot, and you may not get the reality of the situation. They may feel that they're being accused, so therefore they can't actually say what it is that's going on for them. So a more gentle approach can be the initial, and this is just the initial. Now, if you're seeing it more and more, and you get kind of confirmation in inverted commas that this is actually happening, well, then you need to be blunt about it. It seems like there's a lot of blood on your clothes. I need you to show me your arms. Is everything okay? I want to try and help you, but I need you to kind of communicate with me to look at it. So hopefully it won't get to that point. Hopefully you'll get to the bottom of it and just monitor it. Get more evidence to back it up. Because if this is just a once-off, she may well have just nicked her arms. And I think that's the other side of having so much information out there, and so much, we see so much and we hear so much from other parents about children doing this, children doing that we worry about our children doing the same. And that's just a natural way of being and of worrying, because we don't want our kids to have to experience something where they feel that their release is self-harm. So it's important that we don't catastrophize until we get the evidence to show that we need to do something. And catastrophizing doesn't help anyway, because if there is something that needs to be dealt with, we're just going to deal with it anyway, because that's what we have to do. So I hope this helps. Just take a bit of time, be open, and speak to her about it, and just see how it goes. She may open up straight away and say, yes, I am, and I need to speak to somebody, or I need some help. Fantastic. You can offer the help, you can look for the help, and go from there. Jennifer, I think sometimes children do not realise how they behave towards the parents. Then they have to be reminded again, so that they see that it is not in order. Talking is always good, and I think she handled the situation very well. Absolutely, she did. Good morning, Josephine. It's good to see you. Leaving leaflets around the house might open up a conversation. It may well do, which is another really good suggestion. Have some leaflets. Or what a lot of parents have now is the ability, because of Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and Twitter, to be able to go to their child and say, oh look, I was just reading about this, and geez, any of your friends have experienced this, and how do they manage it? So you're opening up that way of speaking. So that's a great suggestion, Josephine. Thank you. See how that goes too. So you can have a general conversation, and if they kind of go, no, none of my friends have never experienced that. I don't know what that is. What are you talking about? Goodbye. Then you can maybe look at taking things further and continue the monitoring of the situation. So I hope that helps. Okay, last one for today. My 10-year-old son cannot make up his mind what he wants for his birthday. We are on a budget financially, but can afford a party or a present for him. He keeps going back and forth with wanting a big, not too cheap party with his friends, and we've explained that will mean his present is slightly smaller. He then flops to wanting a bigger present and smaller party, and then back and forth and back and forth. We need to make a decision as his birthday is in 3 weeks. I need to organise things. I want him to understand the value of money, but I also need to get shit organised. What can I do to get him moving? Oh yeah, that's that's one of those ones. I'm sure a lot of parents will be able to will find some sort of resonation with it. That's even a word. But I think this is where you need to set a deadline. Okay, so this Sunday or this Monday, you have to decide what it is you want. Do you want the bigger present, or do you want to have the bigger party? And that is your cutoff point. If you don't pick, we'll decide for you. So you are getting ample opportunity to make the decision for yourself. The kids will still flip and flop, but that's where you just need to draw the line in the sand and say, this is the cutoff point because we need to organise it. And if we don't, we can't organise the party. Whatever with the present, we can't organise the party. So we need to know. So sit them down, tell them this weekend, whatever day, if you want to give it time, 2 p.m. Sunday is the deadline you need to come up with. Decide what it is you want, and we can look at organising it. This is your party. It's going to be something fun. It's going to be something good, or your birthday present. You want it. So we're going to get something that you want. You just need to decide what it is that you actually want and go from there. So draw a line in the sand. It's that simple. And they flip-flop. Maybe you can make a decision for them, and then you might see how quickly they'll turn around and go, actually, no, this is what I want, and see how that goes. Guys, thank you very much. As always, I really appreciate those of you who are supporting the Patreon page, the Al O'Donoghue podcasts. Like I keep saying, I've got some big plans coming up. You've heard that a lot, but it is coming. So it would be great if you can, even afford to give me the price of a cup of coffee every month. I gratefully appreciate it, because the costs of producing these podcasts have gone up, and it needs to be paid for. So it would be fantastic, and I really appreciate all the support and the feedback. I got some lovely feedback from last week, and as I said, I got some constructive feedback, which is always okay. I'm always open to, because I'm not perfect, and that's okay too. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. I will speak to you all next week, and take care of yourself. See you.